This is we needed to stop for a place overnight and have a pretty heavy charge.
It's already 7:30, right?
Yeah, the sun's setting. We're just kind of a little stressed out. My phone battery's dying. I have barely phone signal, and I'm find this other place nearby. And I call them, and they're like, yeah, absolutely no problem. Thinking it was weird that I was asking if we could charge electric car.
So we go up from Williams, see the Grand Canyon. It's great. We go back down.
Take a quick little hike.
Yeah, and we use that same hotel because we still haven't checked out yet. It's before 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
Take
we
a
actually
shower,
and
charge
use that
the car.
Charge the car as well again, which was really cool. So that actually worked out well in that sense because we needed to charge the car after going up and down the Grand Canyon. Then we're back in the main corridor. And where are we going that day, right? Grand Canyon to Death Valley, basically?
Yes, yeah. So that was a nice long haul day.
That was the longest day of driving on the trip.
No, it was I feel like the second longest day on the trip because the late day we left Lake Tahoe was the longest.
Okay, we'll get to that. But a very long day. This was basically just more DC fast charging. Honestly, not too much interesting to describe aside from what did we see? The Hoover Dam. Eventually,
we saw the Hoover Dam.
So we leave Arizona. We arrive into Nevada.
Yes.
And yeah, we're okay, just before Las Vegas, Hoover Dam. We got to see that, right? It was barely.
Yeah, it was great. We were planning to stop at the Strip, drive through the Strip and do that, just see the Eiffel Tower and all that touristy stuff on the way. But when we got to the Hoover Dam, we were like, oh, great, we'll take a little walk-see. And then Max got really excited because there's an update
for the car.
Just dropped for the car.
Over-the-air software update for the car. It adds more accurate range prediction, and it puts Apple Maps, if your phone is plugged in with CarPlay, on the driver display. Which, by the way, I mentioned, guys, we were using Google Maps because it's plugged into the car. It knows when we'll arrive with battery. I didn't need Apple Maps. I just thought, oh, that'd be cool. So it says update can take up to 90 minutes. You lock your car. I'm like, yeah, I've done this before. It takes 20 minutes. So we see the Hoover Dam, and when we get back to the car, it's still locked.
Yeah, it's still locked. So apparently software updates lock your car.
And guys, this is true. Before Tesla people come in here, yes, Teslas get over-the-air updates too. No matter what electric car you have, I've heard stories that this happens to people. You should just do updates when your car's in your garage at home, or overnight, not when you're depending on it. I mean, that's pretty obvious, I feel like, but just I got a little too excited, but that happened.
Yeah, thankfully, I was low on water, but thankfully there was a vending machine where we got some water. Then there was very branded Hoover Dam aluminum bottles, so we got a cool souvenir out of it, I guess. And that's a cool stop.
Yeah. We go through Las Vegas. We charge in Las Vegas because that's the next big. And
we skip the Strip.
Las Vegas. Remember looking on the Electrify America app? There were 6 Electrify America stations just in the metropolitan Las Vegas area. It was crazy. There were so many. We ended up stopping at the Electrify America instead of a Target. There were 6, but no one in Las Vegas who drives an electric car has home charging, I guess, because everyone's using the Electrify America station. To be fair, it is at this point rush hour.
It was rush hour. The grocery stores were packed.
But gosh, what a nightmare. If owning an electric vehicle for you means doing that every rush hour, I get why some people aren't so hot on EVs. That wasn't the most pleasant experience, and Tesla superchargers may be better. I don't know. There's probably more stalls. But honestly, just such high congestion, such high usage of the DC chargers, really it was a little bit stressful, Gosia.
Yeah. But, we made it happen. It worked out. All was well.
All was well with that. But
we figured it out.
We figured that out. We made it to Las Vegas. We wanted to see the Strip, but at this point, we'd taken so long just finding a charger.
Yeah, I know it was rush hour. No way. Are we going to waste time to drive down?
We literally just used the Target that the charger was next to get some Starbucks refreshers and not a strawberry acai. Sorry, Kyle, but we got that and then some whatever snacks we needed because we were camping that night, and we blow through the rest of Nevada, come into Death Valley, and that's when things get really interesting.
Yeah, super fun. So I found this RV spot, and I read a bunch of blog posts, very reliable information, and places online and some RV sites, how electric cars can, no problem, charge at these sites overnight. And then, so I found one that was right on our way, so we wouldn't really have to go off our route. And we get there, and turns out not have super smooth sailing.
No, so the owners, this is our fault. We didn't call ahead when we booked this spot because we assumed, just like in the San Juan National Forest, when there was an electrical hookup and we paid for, to camp, it's fine. But we paid for an RV site, and these people were very insistent we needed an RV or a truck with a camper on it. They didn't claim to care about the EV thing, but they're like, oh, we think you're going to camp here. So Gosia,
they just didn't want to have, what they said was they did not want to have cars at their RV spots. They didn't want to have anyone like car camping overnight. But we had like time, and we were like, okay, we can buy a tent site. They said, nope, you can't do that. Even though I think trucks are cars, but apparently they're not.
Technically, truck people will say trucks are separate, but like but that's mechanical distinctions when it comes to, because they are built a little bit differently with suspension and stuff. But they have rules like this, and we should have called ahead. But I think it was super infuriating, especially when we offered to pay for that original site and a tent site. Not willing to budge. We at this point have like 30% battery, which may sound like a lot because that's still in this car like for at least 40 miles of range with the bikes and high speed, but we're in Death Valley, so
this is like we needed to stop for a place overnight and like have a pretty heavy charge.
It's already like 7:30, right?
Yeah, the sun's setting. We're just kind of a little stressed out. My phone battery's dying. I have barely phone signal, and I'm like, find this other place nearby, and I call them. And they're like, yeah, absolutely no problem. Like thinking it was weird that I was asking if we could charge electric car because it's absolutely no problem for them because of that, how they run their own business, and that's fine. So we get there, super nice couple, really nice little place. It was fun. Yeah,
I don't think I have any pictures of this to show or media. Sorry, guys, because this was so stressful in the moment as it was happening.
Yeah, and we needed to make food, and it was so hot because it's
and they're like warning us our tent's gonna blow over in the wind because it's Death Valley, it's a desert, right?
They're like, it could be 50 miles an hour winds, but like.
And they're probably right, but not at the beginning of June. It turns out.
Not that evening. So when we actually we were laying in bed, and
to be safe, we use an RV and the fence to cover our tent, and we plan it. We'd even take the bikes off the car, thinking, oh, what if it gets so windy? Not thinking that we're going 80 miles an hour in the car with the bikes on anyways.
Then I thought, wait, I should actually check the weather though. The high, it was maybe 2 miles an hour wind. I wish it was windier. It was so hot.
And a useful note here, Gosia, I freaked out a little bit, panicked, because these people were really nice, and then I open up the plug next to where we're setting up our tent. It's it's not NEMA 1450. I think it's 630 is the designation for it. But basically it's a 30 amp socket, which, I could charge on 30 amps overnight if I had the right connector, but I didn't. I only had the 1450 and the wall outlet. And I was thinking, oh shoot, we might have to do wall outlet, which will give us 20% overnight. We'll figure out our options then. Then I asked the guy, he's like, oh yeah, we have 50 amps just at those sites. And so it turns out, guys, different connectors. If you want to be super prepared for your EV road trip, not only have that mobile charger, or EVSE as you should call it, have the different connectors you can swap out to it to adapt to worst case if you only see one of those 30 amp sockets. You weren't worrying at all about this. You were actually setting up the tent. Well,
I was. It was great.
But
I was just loving.
I don't think I even told you this.
I think you did later on. I just didn't really understand because I was just suddenly you just up and moved the car, and I was like, huh. That's weird, but it worked out.
But I moved it out. They did have the 50 amp as well. And so I plugged in. We start the next day with 100%, and we get through Death Valley. And even with 100% battery, as it turned out, our options weren't, they existed, but if I remember correctly, Gosia,
there's a slow charger where you did not want
to stop. A slow DC charger that was a 50 kilowatt California Department of Transportation one. Theoretically free. I actually did want to stop there, Gosia. Here's the issue. You were napping at this point. The exit to get to that charger, they decided to close it.
Oh, yes.
Because it was under construction. And I think the actual site, maybe the visitor center was closed, who knows. But at this point, Google Maps is like, cool, your closest turnaround point is in 20 miles. I'm like, oh, God, I do not want to have to drive 40 extra necessary miles. I do some quick re-navigation Google Maps at this point, thankfully using the lane centering and cruise control, so I don't have to pay 100% attention to the road. But Gosia's still napping a bit. I move it to Electrify America, and I think you freak out a little bit because you see that at this point to get to that Electrify America in Baker, I think it was, we were gonna get there low.
Yeah, and I was not. I mean, freak out's a strong term, but I was not comfy on it. I was stressed.
So we just slowed down a bit, and it was okay. We were definitely in the right lane, and there was a lot of envy because we did pass a Tesla supercharger along this stretch as we were leaving Death Valley, getting onto, I forget the name of the highway, but again, a real California highway. We'll show the image of the the route map. But yeah, I wish I could see what the California DOT charger was like, but they just closed that exit.
Yeah, I think we stopped at a California DOT later on, didn't we?
We did it later on, and we'll get to that. But it basically, always have a plan B on your route for that reason, because you never know. The exit here, even if your charger says on the app for Electrify America, or whoever it is, or in your navigation that you're using, even if it says online, maybe accessing it is difficult. So backup plans are nice, and we stopped in Baker, California, also kind of a rough area, a bit like Pueblo, Colorado. Seems like people had just, been out in the sun for quite a while there. We heard some interesting conspiracy theories about Terminator stuff going on.
Yeah.
Someone's dad who was abducted by the government. Lots of stuff going on.
Okay, I didn't hear that one. We'll talk about that later.
Well, I don't know, but anyhow,
we stopped at a coffee shop.
We stopped at a coffee shop.
Get some donuts.
Donuts, coffee, good classic California stop. Not your artisanal coffee either, but hey, it's coffee.
It was good. It was good. They were good donuts too. We had just missed National Donut Day, but that's okay.
By one day. But anyhow, we keep driving through California, and at this point we stop, and basically we start to get out of the desert biome into the Sierras, and this is where things get pretty. We meet a nice couple in Ioniq 5 at a Chevron station that also has an Electrify America. Isn't that funny?
Perfect. Love that.
Love that synergy between gas and electric. But funnily enough, they were using Tesla batteries or Tesla transformers or some electric equipment that was made by Tesla as part of their infrastructure for the chargers, which I thought was so funny. Maybe they were rectifiers for the grid. I don't know what they were, but anyhow, they were basically using Tesla hardware. Normal Electrify America stop, no issues. We scraped the windshield of bugs because by this point,
oh my gosh, it was so buggy.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I got some more snacks. Took a few walks. They had a nice little dog park there, which I was impressed. I really appreciate.
We
the
had
little
the deep
dog
charge
park.
because at this point, guys, even though there's more options, thankfully, because it's California and we're on a real highway, because of the bikes, the speeds we're going, driving through the mountains, we do need to charge a little bit more to make it between stops comfortably. And the couple in Ioniq 5 we met was having trouble activating the station. So I'm like, hey guys, you should use the Apple Wallet trick where you add the Electrify America pass onto your phone, just like an Apple Wallet thing, the same way you use Apple Pay. I showed them how to do that instead of relying on the app to activate. And they're like, oh, thank you. So that was nice to help them out. We actually basically were a convoy with them for a few stops.
we saw them a few more times. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun when you're in road trips and you see the same cars. It's even more fun when you end up chatting with those people and learning more
we
about
informally
them.
kind of paced each other, maybe gave each other little tiny drafts, who knows.
Yes,
but,
I like to think so.
I like to think so. We go by and we stop at a really famous bakery at our next stop.
Ooh, it was so good. We should link that or include some. I took a bunch of photos for my sister.
It was like an institution. There was a big drive-through there. It was funny. And there was compact car parking that a Cadillac Escalade was using. Classic American things.
Yeah. But we finally got our fruit tart. We had been talking about how we needed to find a fruit tart on this trip. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, made up for me eating your cinnamon roll earlier. So that happens. We get through the Sierras, and it really was so pretty at this point driving through. And I think after Death Valley and that panic, it was so nice to be back and even though guys, it's the mountains, it's still more infrastructure than the desert. Because there's a real road. It's super scenic. The road is smooth mostly. I thought pretty cool.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in an electric car, Gosia, I noticed that we were climbing, but because we ended up netting, not we still went down and up and had regen. We didn't seem to get that much less range through the mountains.
No, it wasn't bad. It was nice.
And unlike a combustion car, guys, when you're driving at 8,000, 9,000 feet above sea level, like you are in the Sierras, or close to home in Colorado, we can do that as well. Your gas cars will slow down because they need to breathe. Electric cars don't. The motors are just fine. They don't care. Yes, they have to work a little harder and move up the hill, but you're not losing overall power in the car because it can't get oxygen. Doesn't matter as much. unless you're really pushing it like the people racing up Pikes Peak this weekend. But we're not doing that. We're just driving.
No. We're just having our road trip fun, not breaking records.
No. And so we basically have we actually go back into Nevada for a tiny little bit because we're on the very eastern edge of California, Gosia, and we have to stop in Nevada to charge. And it's funny at this point, like, we're in California, then we go back in Nevada, but that's just how it is when you get around Tahoe.
Yeah.
It's between the two states. They actually share Lake Tahoe. But we stop in Nevada at a visitor center with a charge point that's free. I'm like, free DC fast charging, and it's a charge point, and it's online. And I go there, and you're like, Max, I don't think we were supposed to stop here. There's like bulldozers, like the parking lot's under construction.
No, it was,
and I did take pictures of this. It was funny.
Yeah,
but
I'm not quite sure how illegal it was, but there wasn't any sign.
The charge point was still online. And so we did some soft roading, just go up on the gravel where there's the bulldozer. They're not actively being used because it's already 6 p.m. Everyone's off for the day.
It's like the weekend or something.
And so I plug in, I actually get a free charge. For some reason, it's really slow. I should be getting 62 kilowatts. I got 30. So it's actually not much faster than, but should that charger have been online in the first place? Probably not.
Who knows? But we got some nice coffee. We walked through town. Was that before or after we got that pizza?
This is well after the pizza. So we get coffee. Kind of at this point, it's almost dinner time. We end up finally coming back around into California. The California side of Lake Tahoe, our destination, and we were staying on the northwestern end of Lake Tahoe, around Alpine Meadows area. Beautiful, but basically we navigate back into California. We meet some friends who were also in the area for the weekend, grab dinner. At this point, no stress. We did need a little bit of extra charge for comfort, so we stop at Truckee, Electrify America, where there, as I was learned on Twitter from Electrify America's, their own word, new chargers, or they've refurbished them. They were new. The hardware was fancy. I believe it was like new, either Signet units, maybe it was ABB, but they were fancy chargers, nice hardware. Yeah. One of them was like not getting right speeds. So I switched and the other one was fine. So Electrify America, even with new hardware, seems to have some issues managing their stations. But it did work eventually. Then we get to the house, Gosia, and I didn't realize the house had electric.
You were so excited. He did this like happy dance. It was so cute.
Yeah.
You were like, we have a charger here.
There was a charger at the house. Again, EVSE for free nerds, but there was a thing I can plug into my car to give it charge, use my car's charger.
It was so nice. You didn't have to just have like an outlet and like having the extension cord and really...
Yeah. In the description of the place, I didn't realize, we knew what the place looked like with photos. That I'd actually stayed there before, but I didn't realize the charger had been installed, so that was great. So that was cool.
Super fun!
Could reliably charge up overnight, and
so nice.
We have a fun few days in Tahoe. It's nice to be in one place for a few days.
Yes. Did some cycling, did some hiking, did some swimming, some paddle boarding, some kayaking.
Yeah.
So much fun.
No stress again because we have the overnight charging at home.
Yes.
So we took day trips to like 60 miles into the mountains, come back, and it's fine, right?
Yeah.
We never stopped on the way. This is where electric cars are great. And then, Gosia, it's time to come back, and we decide the southern route has been fun. We saw the Grand Canyon. We saw
what we wanted to see. Now we just want to go home maybe and like see Moab, and that's it.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, we can conceivably in one day drive to Moab, Utah from Lake Tahoe, which, guys, in a gas car, that's a haul.
And for us, it was quite a haul.
And an electric car, it's even more of a haul.
Yeah.
So we done planning. I looked at the car's built-in route planning. Of course, we used a better route planner before. We plugged in the destination. I saw it estimated about 13 hours with charging. So I'm like, cool. If we wake up at 5 a.m.,
which we did,
and we check out of the house, we re-lock it and stuff. Set up the bear traps because Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
We leave at 5:30 a.m. and we actually ended up getting there not that much later. Was it 8?
Wait, what?
To Moab.
No, we got there really late. It was like almost 11 p.m.
Oh, God.
It was really late.
Okay, what were the stops we made on this day? This was just a long...
It's like a blur.
Honestly, guys, this day was a blur, and this video is long enough, so we won't keep you too long with this day.
But it worked out. It was fine. Like, we had plenty of... there's like, I think one or two segments where we had to get a deep charge, but it wasn't bad.
The big story here as we drove, and guys,
stopped in Salt Lake.
We stopped in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
We were in Nevada briefly, of course, because that's right east of California. Then we're not going to Arizona this time. We're going the northern route more so. So we go through Utah. And the Salt Lake is fine. There's a great EVgo station there. We use that to charge. That's the first EVgo charger I've been on during the trip, I think. So that was cool. I can just plug in my car, recognizes it because I signed up for their plug and charge. That's exciting to me. But we do that. And between Green River and honestly, until you get to Colorado, here's the issue with Moab. It's slim for fast charging, unless you have a Tesla, because of course there's a Tesla supercharger there. But it blew my mind, Gosia, because Rivian, the company making off-road adventure trucks, has been talking about how their trucks do amazing in off-road trails like Moab, and they're actually building out their own charge network. They say they want to have 3,500 in the ground by the end of this year. I don't know if that'll happen, but that's their plan. They've actually built out several of them. Why is there not one of those in Moab? I don't know.
I don't know. It was a bummer, but thankfully we called ahead. We had learned our lesson.
So we're staying in a hotel again.
And we stayed at a hotel and called ahead to make sure they had some chargers. And
Archway Inn, great place.
Yes, it was super cute. There's a nice. It was so nice. Yeah,
super nice, honestly. And nice hotel, fairly affordable. They had a Clipper Creek unit, so it's basically just a dumb, charger we could plug into. These are great. I mentioned the brand because if you're a business owner who's been watching this video, like, buy some of these, set them up outside your business. It's going to attract some customers to you. I actually promise. People will utilize it. Yes, there'll be the occasional, a-hole who abuses it, but most people, I think, especially driving electric cars, are, so to speak, financially comfortable and probably are going to consider respectful and probably going to consider giving you their business and time. So I think it's a great thing to do. So worked out well at the hotel. We charged up enough, of course, overnight. We actually didn't get a full charge. We had like 80% because it was fairly slow. We were sharing it with a RAV4 Prime, a plug-in hybrid of all things.
Yes. So, but that's okay. The next morning we went to Moab. We did some hikes. We went up to Arches. I can't remember. Did we just do the Delicate Arch hike?
Yeah, we just breezed through Arches.
And some other like really small little hike. The Windows, I think.
Yeah.
I
think you're right. We saw a couple of the Windows Arches, or we hiked around them. Anyhow, quick hiking in Arches, come back down. We actually stop at a level 2 charger in Moab because that's all there is.
No, we went back to the hotel.
Back to the hotel.
We went swim. Okay. I swam.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep this video short, but I guess the long run time is good for YouTube. So.
And then we stopped at a coffee shop, and in town there is a better charger, right? Or was it the same type of charger?
It was better than a hotel, but it was still level 2. So it was AC charge point. It was a 6 kilowatt unit, but it was free. So we used that, and we just walked into a nice bakery, cafe. It was okay. And then we leave Moab, get back into Colorado, and honestly, once we're on 70, I feel like everything's fine. We leave Fruita, Utah, get to Grand Junction, Electrify America. We see a F-150, the Ford Lightning, right, pickup truck there with 2 bikes on the bed. I'm like, these are my people. So cool. Charging at EA. This was a Sam's Club EA. And just so you know, EV drivers, if you need to use the bathroom and it's a Sam's Club, I thought like it's a Costco type thing, you need a membership. To use the bathroom, apparently, we could just walk in. Yeah,
they were just there. Yeah. No, it was fine.
That was fine, which was nice, because like I'm always looking, I don't know, maybe this is TMI, but every time I have to stop, I want to use the bathroom, so I love having that amenity available. So Sam's Club, totally fine. We didn't buy anything because you need a membership, but we were able to just use the bathroom, which was great. Yeah. Charged up, and then we had one more stop, I want to say.
Was it when we stopped for pho?
Yeah, so what happened is we charged a lot at Grand Junction, and honestly, we just blazed through I-70 West. Again, I-70 West is like a really beautiful road, or we're going east on 70, but 70 by this stretch of Colorado, if you haven't driven it, it's infamous for traffic with ski season and other things.
It's not ski season anymore.
But it's not ski season, and we were going the opposite direction that most summer people go, because most summer people from Denver and Boulder go west of the mountains. We're going east back home.
In that time of day,
no traffic, Gosia. We stop in Georgetown, very close to Denver at this point. Very cute town, super cool. If you're making a Colorado bucket list, add it to your list. There's beautiful, like the most beautiful, I think, chargers we saw on the trip, right by a stream. I thought they were really pretty.
And it was like raining. It was like a big rainstorm
weather wasn't
recently.
pretty, but...
So the stream is like it's really powerful. I was worried that might like even flood.
It's a little concerning because when it's not flooding, these chargers are so close to the stream.
Yeah.
And then we've had a notoriously rainy spring and summer in Colorado. So the stream is raging. Chargers are fine. We get our feet a little muddy plugging in the car and whatever. We go and have some pho. Great pho place, surprisingly good in Georgetown. Get back in, and at that point, we just basically went back to your house, and that concluded our trip.
Yes, and it was great. Good pho, good company. But we are ready to sleep in a not road trip place. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to be home again.
Yes.
Unload the bikes off the roof.
Yes.
All that. Unpack the car.
Mm-hmm.
Car held up great, by the way. Pull source specific notes. Google Maps was great for navigation. Typically very accurate. Don't update your car software in the middle of a road trip. Any other electric car lessons you feel like you learned?
I mean, I don't.
How do you like the driving
electric car,
experience? Because we took driving shifts.
Yeah, no, I think it was fine. Yeah, and I'm not just saying that because you're right here, but I thought it was great because I do
Try to
think.
hold the camera a little steadier. Everyone's watching this video is gonna have like.
I'm sorry, people, but my hands are they're tired from holding the phone. No, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good because I have a tendency to overdrive on my road trips and drive like 5 hours or just like until
so electric
my
cars
gas
force
ends,
you to
force me to take a break and like get some coffee, get some snacks, walk around a little bit, which I think is healthier anyway and keeps you more alert. And when you're driving with a great person, then you can just be a passenger princess and take naps, especially during the stressful moments.
So honestly, EV road trip, the way to do it, honestly, have two people who can swap out, have fun activities, be ready to take a walk at a charger, get some coffee. If you're in the mindset of like, oh, it's not going to be as quick as gas, well, of course you're right. Gas is always going to be more convenient, even if you have an Ioniq 5 or a Lucid Air super fast charging car.
But is it healthier? I don't know.
Honestly, EV road trips do kind of force you to get out of the car, learn more about the places you're in.
Get your steps in.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie and say like it's faster. It's not. Gas is still faster. And like if we wanted to stress a little bit less in terms of like getting to our destination the quickest way possible, we would have taken your Kona. But this was a journey trip. It was about the journey. We had cool stops. I think it went well, even in a non-Tesla car. That said, if we were in a Tesla, a lot of our woes would have been lessened. Not in the sense that we would have charged quicker. Tesla charge speeds are actually slower than, the best of Ioniq 5 or Lucid Air. They're still good. They're just, like they haven't cranked up the voltage on their chargers yet, but they're super reliable and they're everywhere.
Yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And now with all of these deals brokered with Tesla, if you have a non-Tesla car, you'll be able to.
Well, Ford, GM,
eventually.
Rivian, hopefully more to come. Anyhow, this video has been very long. We're about to check into to Rocky Mountain Park, so I don't want to film at the ranger station, but any last words, Gosia, before we cut off?
Bye, have fun, take a road trip, and get outside as much as you can.
Agreed.